A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nelles, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee, on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
Good midday and welcome in. This is Middays with Thunder edition of the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. I'm Mitch Nelles. He's Tommy Wirtz. Hi, Tommy.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Gosh, I mean,
just midday. Just
literally
midday, bro.
hate.
High noon.
Hate it.
Pew 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 pew. High noon. Tommy, I think we can both agree.
Yeah.
That there's a lot amazing about the United States of America.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Like we love the country we live in.
Yeah.
We love the freedoms we have, all that stuff.
USA has won every Super Bowl.
I love that. I think we can also agree that like we have challenges like anyone. And we work together, hopefully, more often than not our government shutdown notwithstanding, but like we know that there are challenges and we work to overcome them. Like we work. We especially here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, like we are uniters here. We want to bring people together. We want to be the united front of the Wisconsin sports fan. UFWF, United Front.
We are the United Radio of America.
Yeah, united front of the Wisconsin sports fan. That's what I want us to be. I have a challenge that I want to throw out to you.
Okay.
And then we're going to talk Pat Murphy. Pat Murphy was on the show with Joel Sherman and John Heyman. I assume that's MLB Network, like MLB.
It's New York Post.
Oh, New York Post.
New York
Okay.
Post, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Camille Davis joining us around 12:20. Today is opening night for our Milwaukee Bucks. They are hosting Chris Middleton. I'm going to get his name right. Is it AJ Johnson? Is he the guy they traded with Chris last year? Okay.
Yep.
AJ Johnson. CJ McCollum, I think, is on the Wizards now. We should probably look at their roster. So we'll be talking some Bucks basketball. Best friend Andy Herman is joining us at the top of the 1 o'clock hour. We will talk who's injured, who's not. We will talk about yellow helmets versus yellow helmets with him, which is crazy. And we've got all sorts. We've got NFL talk. We got to make fun of the Badgers a little bit, or at least express our concern, that sort of thing. But I have and I don't know if this is a distinctly American thing. It's definitely a first world country thing. I got an email, unauthorized charge on your credit card. Okay. And I assume I'm not the only one. I assume many of us have gotten a text or a call or an email. And here's where, like, I'm as a citizen, like, I'm already befuddled. And you can make fun of me if I'm old or not old or whatever.
You are old.
I call the number on the back of my card. So I'm initiating the call. And I still think I'm getting scammed. Like, because of all the scams that are out there with credit cards and with, like, I don't know if you saw the new one about they're convincing people to go to like Bitcoin ATMs and put money, like they're getting our elderly to put actual cash in they're saying the whole scam is that, there was a bank error. We accidentally took out $100. So we accidentally put back 1,000 by accident. So you need to go to this Bitcoin ATM and put in the $900 to send it to us because we accidentally gave you too much money.
If you get to Bitcoin in the conversation, I hang up on the phone.
Right,
I don't even hear anything else after.
And newsflash to all of our people out there, that should be for all of you.
Yes.
You hear, if they say you have to go to a Bitcoin ATM, nope, conversation's over. Hang up. It's a scam. Anyway, where did we get to that? Like, I think when I'm calling my credit card company, I'm calling the number on the back of the card, which is my card. So I think I'm calling the right people, that I still think I'm victim of a scam and that somehow my information is going to get stolen. And this is not going to work out well for me. Tommy, 25-year-old, can you please be my guru on how Earth works?
I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't have the number saved, like, don't even answer the phone. I mean, like,
well,
just
that is good. That is good.
It's literally the first line of defense right there, and it's pretty much undefeated. on there,
Yes.
because if it really was your bank, they'd leave a message. And if in that message they say your car warranty's up, then it's over. It's not a real thing.
But there's so much more to it too, because you could get an email that looks like it's from your bank and like has everything perfect.
Yeah, don't click anything in the email.
Right, don't click anything in any emails, and don't call the numbers back from the email.
Mm-hmm.
You go to your card, or you walk into your bank and do it that way. Do not, like, I don't want to say like Stone Cold said, don't trust anybody, but like we're kind of at this place. Don't cry. So do I trust the person on the other end of the phone? When I called last night, the fraud department, they already canceled my card. I already have a new number in the app. Like in the app, I have a new credit card number. They're sending me a new card, but I still feel like something went awry, even though it probably didn't.
Was it emotionally draining on you?
Yes.
It feels
That's
like
why I started today's show with this and not the Bucks. Like, how am I not starting? Like, you know me.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Bucks. I dyed my hair green and purple during the early 2000s when Ray and Sam and Big Doug were there. I've been a season ticket holder for the past 6 years. I dropped down to a 10-pack this year, but I'm still going to be there tonight. Like, I'm Mr. Bucks, and I started this show with how emotionally spent I feel after dealing with credit card fraud.
Yeah, I mean, it can be emotional, right? Sports are emotionally draining. Bank problems are emotionally draining. And even when things are successful, they can be emotionally draining.
I see where you're going with this, Tommy. You are so good. 414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law talk and text line. 414-677-1250. Share with me your woes and your concerns about credit card fraud. As 608 writes in, George is getting upset. Oh, that wasn't to me, but I do feel like I'm George getting upset from Seinfeld. But we are going to switch gears. Like I said, Camille Davis at 1220. We're going to talk Bucks with her. And in the following segment at 1240, we're going to get to Andy Herman, Pack a Day podcast at 1. But we are going to start with Pat Murphy, because we really haven't heard, right, from our Milwaukee Brewers since the Game 4 loss.
Mm-hmm.
I know Freddie spoke in the locker room after. I think Christian spoke maybe a little bit, but we haven't. And maybe, like, I'm on most of the Brewers press release emails. Normally, when they have the end of the season, they have like a day at the ballpark where like the players are emptying out their lockers. And Murph talks in the press room where, you know, I've tweeted out all those pictures during the playoffs when he's there with his kids, and sad Craig Counsell at those as well. I tweeted out all those pictures. But I am emotionally drained with what I went through with my credit card fraud, not unlike our Milwaukee Brewers. As exciting and as happy as we were to have beaten the enemies to the south, the Craig-led Chicago Cubs, it was emotionally draining, and that had an effect on the team.
I agree. And Pat Murphy commented on it yesterday on the show with Joel Sherman and John Heyman. Here's what he had to say about the series with the Chicago Cubs.
Beating the Cubs was so emotional, John. It drained us. It drained me. And then we have to practice the next day and play the next day. It's like, ooh, that felt, I can imagine how the players felt. And we still lost 2-1 with the bases loaded in the ninth, you know, and had opportunities to win there. So I commend this team. I admire this team we had in Milwaukee. Unfortunately, we ran into the buzzsaw, the Dodgers, at the wrong time.
Is that a weird comment to hear from the manager, Pat Murphy? Maybe not in hindsight to make the comments, but to comment on the moment after beating the Chicago Cubs and saying how emotional that series was. It kind of showed for the first time this season, Pat Murphy just talking about like the day before affecting today, right?
Yeah.
Mitch? And that was something that this Brewers team was so good at, is that
all season long,
it didn't matter what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter what's about to happen tomorrow. We need to be ready for today. And it sounds like, at least in minimum of Game 1, the Brewers were not ready for the Los Angeles Dodgers in that series, Mitch.
So I actually have a theory about that I actually would challenge Pat Murphy on, about what he said specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got emotionally drained by the Cubs. But I think what killed them was that 9th inning of game 1 against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I think that's what emotionally drained them. I know, listen, I think Blake Snell was dominant to a degree that they could have swept the Cubs in 3, or they could have swept the Padres in 3. And I think Blake Snell still pitches 8 shutout innings in that game. Like, that's how good Blake Snell was.
Yeah.
But I still think the Brewers showed up to that game, and especially showed up to that 9th inning, still the Brewers. I think they were still the Brewers. They were still, forget about tomorrow, forget about yesterday, focus on right now, focus on this game, focus on this inning, focus on this pitch. I think they were still that team. And when they weren't able to come back in that game, in that 9th inning, in a situation where they have succeeded dozens of times this season on their way to 97 wins, I think that was the emotional straw that broke the camel's back.
Or at least they noticed that they couldn't, that was all they had, right? Was that, if that wasn't going to work in game 1, how was this going to become a series against the Los Angeles Dodgers? If you put all that emotion into game 1, it was everything they had left after a very emotional series with Chicago. That's where they ended up. Like, it's still, the end result was we couldn't touch the starting pitcher in that game, and they have 3 more amazing starting pitchers still coming ahead with the rest of the series ahead of them.
And Murph said it after before game 2. I was at media availability before game 2. Murph said we should have won that one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we should have stole that one. Not we could have stole that one. He said we should have. And I think that was part of the mindset, even on game 2, that they should have stolen game 1, and that it should have been 1-0. And then when you're looking at Yamamoto and you're looking at Glasnow and you're looking at Ohtani, but you're up 1-0, you feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
About how that's going to go. I'm going to let you know, your little inside radio for Mitch and Tommy right now. I do not have access to the W drive right now.
Yeah, I got it.
And I know you have it, but I can't see actually what sound we have. So I know we have some more Murph, and I'm gonna throw it to you to introduce the next clip.
Yeah, the next one I think goes hand in hand with how we were ending that last segment of this with the emotionally draining. It's Pat Murphy commenting on small markets versus big markets and this competitive nature in Major League Baseball.
You guys would have better perspective than me. I think it's changing in that the rich are getting richer, and it's getting more difficult to break through. I think we broke through as good as anyone has of the small market teams. Now you're talking, 10 years ago when Kansas City did it. I mean, that's pretty special. Homegrown for the most part. And I think we have to do it that way too. I think it has to be homegrown and pick up some of the right pieces. And I mean, it's still very difficult when you're going against. Look at the pitching we faced in those 4 games. It was
unbelievable.
Nothing short of incredible.
No, it was amazing.
Our offense has been
4
pretty
number
consistent.
ones, 4
I'm not saying
aces.
we're the best, but we put it in play and we score runs, and we just didn't in those 4 games.
Yeah, when you're facing 4 aces, that changes the paradigm. As good as your offense is, and I know the Brewers were 2nd in Major League Baseball in batting average and 3rd in Major League Baseball in runs scored this year, and the Brewers did it in bunches without home runs. But when you're facing aces, that changes things. We've talked about that since I was a kid, since before Tommy was born, about how pitching wins championships, and good pitching more often than not is going to beat good hitting. Well, and it's not like I still think Quinn Priester's a really good pitcher. I still think Jose Quintana had a really good year. I still think Freddie's really good for 5 or 6. And I think the Brewers put themselves in position to win baseball games. I mean, they were in a position to win game 1. Frankly, they were in a position to win game 3. They played well. Game 2 even got away from them.
Yeah, I was going to say, really, other than game 4, it felt like they had opportunity in all 3 of those games to start the series. Yeah.
Absolutely. Game 2 was 5-1, but it was 2-1, 3-1 for a while, which means you're in that game. But when you're facing aces, it does change the paradigm. And when you can sign an ace, I know that Sparky and Charlie were talking about this a while yesterday about like, do you pay Freddie 5 years, $100 million, or does he want 4 years, $100 million? Does he want, because he's going to get between 20 and 25 million on the open market based on his numbers compared to what some other guys have. And some of the better guys are getting more than that. He won't get more than that because you can't go more than 6 innings into a game. But with the numbers he had this year, he's going to get at least 20 million a year.
You would hope. Yeah. I have some more comments on it, but if you want, we can head to the phone lines here on some of that. Yeah. John in Franklin on line 1 here. John, what do you got for us here?
Hey guys. Tommy, I'm totally agree with you. After that game 1, after they didn't, they just couldn't quite get over the hump. And at the end of that game, with the opportunity that had presented them, the realistic side of me was trying to find, how are we going to win this series if we did not, after letting that opportunity, that golden opportunity after the game that Snell had pitched. I mean, you could say logically, you just shake it off and then next, no. There was a carryover there. And my concern is I had predicted victory in game 3. And when it was like a snowball rolling down the hill with this series, and it just got worse. And by the end of it, my biggest concern, guys, because I said this to Sparky yesterday, I mean, what is the realistic path forward that's going to lead us to believe going in, if we're fortunate enough to get in the postseason next year, that we could do better than we did this year? And I just hope this isn't one of those series that, possibly there's a hangover into next season.
Well, a hangover, John, but also I feel like this is where you were going to go, and correct me if I'm wrong. You also hope that this isn't the apex, that they didn't max out this year, that this is the best the Brewers can possibly be. They can have a great regular season. They can do what they need to do. They can get to the LCS. But once they get to the LCS, they're going to run into the Dodgers or the Phillies or the Mets or the Braves or a team that has a payroll 100 to 300 million more than them, and they're just going to run into a buzzsaw of pitching that they can't compete with.
I hadn't quantified it that way, but that is the macro point. And if you look at even this World Series, Toronto's no slouch. I think they're 4th or 5th in payroll.
Yep.
This is the reality, and I'm very skeptical. My son was explaining ways for me that the MLB could fix the salary cap, and I'm like, when you're younger. But we'll see what happens. But it's hard for me to believe without, let's face it, the Brewers are going to be running uphill, and they've done a hell of a job. But they're going to be running uphill until the disparity and the money, and then the money gets fixed.
Yeah,
That's correct.
I mean, forever.
John, thanks for the call.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, that's John and Franklin. You can jump on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line 414-677-1250. We've got a lot more to hear from Pat Murphy, but we're going to switch gears. It is Bucks opening day. The Brewers season's over, just in time for the Bucks to get going. So we jump from one to the other. Oftentimes, this is how it works. It's just we never know exactly when that Brewers season's going to end. Bucks, I feel like the start of the season's a week earlier than it's been recently. I guess it just feels, maybe it's because how well the Brewers did. Yeah. That we don't have that break. But the Bucks are hosting the Washington Wizards tonight at 7:00. Camille Davis, Locked On Bucks, is going to join us when we come back right here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. It's Thunder and Tommy with you on a Human Wednesday. And welcome back to the Mason Crosby Show with me, Mitch Thunder Nelles, and Tommy Wirtz. It's a Masonless Wednesday, a human Wednesday for our friend, the kicker. We'll see tomorrow. We'll get an update on what he's done with his formerly impressive football that is now a worthless piece of junk. No, I'm just kidding. It's still pretty cool. The 58-yarder commemorative football that he kicked for the Green Bay Packers.
First person to kick a field goal that was the longest. That's not named Lucas Haversick.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We are the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Packers, of course, play Sunday night. We'll get into that in the 1 o'clock hour. Andy Herman's going to join us, and we're going to talk helmets, which I did not have on my bingo card when I woke up this morning, but obviously that jumped onto the bingo card. Joining us now on the Gruber on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all, is our very good friend, Camille Davis from the Locked on Bucks podcast. Camille, how are you?
I'm so excited. I am so excited. We made it through the offseason. Bucks basketball is here. I'm geeked. I'm in a great mood today. Like
as you should be. Yeah, give us our starting five. You're Eric Jensen. You're at Fiserv Forum. I don't even know if Eric still does it or not. I think he does. Who's our starting five tonight, Camille?
Thinking that's going to be the crew we saw in the preseason. Kevin Porter Jr. starting at point guard next to Gary Trent Jr., AJ Green, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Miles Turner. I think that's the five you see start tonight at Fiserv.
So 3-guard lineup essentially, and then of course Giannis and Miles Turner at center. A lot has been talked about this offseason about pace, yes. and whether it's after misses or makes. Not just dribbling the ball up the court, but also having the ability to pass it up the court, which obviously gets the ball into the front court quicker. What did you see of that during the offseason, and what can that do to help this team?
Yeah, saw some flashes of it throughout the preseason. It's always a little bit hard to judge when Giannis isn't playing. He missed those first 2 games, played in the last 2, but there was one of those games there without Miles Turner as well. So you couldn't quite see all the pieces come together, but in the flashes that you saw, you saw them really getting up those 3-point attempts. They were making a concerted effort to make sure that they're a team that's going to be top in the league when it comes to the volume of shots that they put up from 3. Last year, they were top in the league in efficiency from 3, but middle of the pack when it came to the amount. So they want to get that volume up. You've seen the pace pick up. You've seen even more pressure defensively from this team than what we've seen in years past, with Ryan Rollins being a bother full court, guys picking up half court, even the bigs coming out, blitzing opposing bigs, trying to create that pressure. So you're seeing that pace, I feel like, in a lot of different ways for the Bucks so far in the preseason. And now we get to see it in regular season and how much of that can carry over.
Who does it benefit or who does it help the most if they're able to really push that pace, and if they are looking to shoot even more 3-pointers than, like, we could all talk about how the NBA's changed over the past 10, 15 years, the volume of 3-pointers, but we're talking about a team that's trying to push the pace and shoot even more 3-pointers. Who ends up getting the benefit of that new found offensive philosophy?
I think it works for everyone, which is why it's one of those systems that you really want. One, we know Giannis is one of the biggest threats you can have in transition. So anytime you can have Giannis going against defenses that aren't set, you're in an advantageous situation as it is. Plus the gravity, and guys, it's always just harder to pick up in transition defense than it is in a half court situation. So if you can get out in a break, you can get out there and run. If Giannis isn't going to finish for himself, there's going to be a shooter that he can find there. And even just general pace outside of the transition aspect of it, just trying to make sure that the defense can't keep up. Like, you want the ball to be moving faster than the defenders. And in an offense that prioritizes pace and 3-point shots and spacing with Giannis at the helm, I think you're going to see that ball movement a lot too. And Miles Turner is going to be a big help in that aspect, because he was kind of like that, not necessarily a playmaker in Indy, but he's a big that does not let the ball stick in his hands. He's making his decisions very quickly and moving on to help with the next pass to the next play. So I think it's all going to come together in this way where you're just seeing it benefit everyone on that offense, because it's going to create open looks for somebody eventually.
Camille Davis joining us here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. She is Locked on Bucks, the podcast. Find her wherever you listen to your podcast. I was going to ask next about Miles Turner, because I think there's a common misconception that, oh, he's just Brook Lopez, but younger. And I think there are a lot of similarities, right? A big who can protect the rim, who can shoot threes. But tell us a little bit more about how the Miles Turner fit next to Giannis on this Bucks team.
Yeah, I think you got it right. Like a lot of the things that Brook Lopez did and the things that you want to see a big next to Giannis do, Miles Turner can do that with the floor spacing, with the rim protection. But the added thing with Miles Turner is not just that he's younger, but he's a bit more mobile as well. Like you're not going to confuse Miles Turner for a Jericho Sims when it comes to like the foot speed on the perimeter, but he can play at the level on the pick and rolls on the screens. He's someone who can blitz. He's also someone, as I mentioned too, where offensively, he's just very comfortable with being like a secondary ball mover in that sense of like, it's not going to stick with him. He's also very, very vocal, which is something that Brook Lopez also is. And as a center, that back line of defense, you need your center to know and also communicate. And that's something that Miles Turner has had in droves, apparently. Like you're hearing early on that his leadership is something that's really standing out for this Bucks team. And he just got here, a few months ago, but he's already letting his veteran presence be felt. A guy that was just on a team in the finals. So what he says has a lot of weight as well. And he's been blending in really, really well so far from the Bucks. But the one thing I'll say as a difference between Miles and Brook to keep an eye on, it's just finishing around the rim. That's an area that Brook Lopez has been better at traditionally than Miles Turner, while Miles Turner has traditionally been better in the mid-range than what Brook Lopez has been. So a little bit different of where they kind of like to get some of their shots. So it can open up things in a different way as well, having Miles next to Giannis, with both of them having a mid-range game teams have to respect.
Nice.
Camille, I got a question for you. Looking at the way this Bucks roster is constructed, they added in a couple of really fun pieces, I think, in role positions this offseason.
You love Cole Anthony.
Cole Anthony looks
I'm not
great.
mad at it.
Yeah, Gary Harris, Amir Coffey. Gosh, like, did Bucks Twitter blow up for Amir Coffey for that 24 hours? But how deep does this Bucks team go into their bench all season long? Because it seems like there isn't that huge separation from a lot of guys that are in the starting lineup to what their role can be to guys who are on the bench. I think that, Kevin Porter Jr. is awesome, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cole Anthony takes some, catches up and is the starting point guard at some point this season because of what Kevin Porter Jr. can bring off the bench, that energy, like you've seen with Bobby Portis in the past. And they traded away Chris Middleton, and now Kuzma's not even in the starting lineup, right? He's probably going to come off the bench. So how frequent do you see this Bucks team really rotating in and out around Giannis and around Miles Turner within those other three spots between point guard and the traditional 2 and 3?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think traditionally you've heard Doc Rivers say he likes to keep a short rotation. He likes to go 8, maybe 9 deep. But I think this year you're going to regularly see the Bucks roll out 10 guys every single game because it seems like
early, right?
Especially early. And I feel like that bench unit that you saw in the preseason, that he would do like full platoon swaps where it was 5 bench players on the court at the same time. And he seems to really actually like that grouping with Cole Anthony, your guy. But the pairing of him with Ryan Rollins, it's like the two of them together really feed off each other, play off each other really well. And they also enjoy playing with one another. And Cole has shown that playmaking ability in his game that can really lead that second unit. So I think that's part of why, like, you're going to see a lot of Cole Anthony, I think. But I think that starting spot's going to remain in Kevin Porter Jr.'s bag just because of the value I think that Cole is going to bring to that second unit. And to your Kuz point, the trade, yes, we know he's probably now going to be a guy come off the bench. But again, if you don't make that trade last year, and then Dame tears his Achilles here, the offseason, you're faced with a whole different set of questions to how to get that financial flexibility to make a move. And I don't think the Bucks have Miles Turner if that trade wasn't made for Kyle Kuzma to begin with to kind of flip the balance financially for him. But Kuz, he's one of those guys I've been saying that he got to play him like a Giannis light. And it's not me saying that I think Kyle Kuzma is Giannis, but I'm saying that the ways that he can be most effective are some of the same ways you utilize Giannis, which is 1, shot selection. We want you at the rim and we want you on catch and shoot threes, which you don't ask Giannis for the threes, but we're going to ask Kuz for the threes because he's playing next to Giannis and other guys. So catch and shoot threes, nothing crazy. No, step back threes. I'm dribbling, hop to the side. None of that. We want catch and shoot. We want you at the rim. And that's the primary shot selection, but also rebounding. I think that's going to be huge for Kuzma this year, especially on those second units, especially if the Bucks run out these lineups where they are playing more guards and they're a little bit smaller. You're going to have to make sure you're actually ending the defensive possessions that you're trying to. So I think Kuzma's going to have a valuable role off the bench as kind of like that rebounding catch and shoot. If I have the ball in my hand, I can trust the playmaking from him. So I think that's the role for him. But that bench unit we see is going to probably get more minutes than expected, where it's all bench all together.
Camille Davis, Locked On Bucks. Follow her on Twitter at Camille Monet. And then now compare this lineup to the rest of the East, Camille. The West is absolutely stacked. We saw it kick off yesterday with an amazing Rockets Thunder game and then Lakers Warriors. I don't know if this Bucks team should be necessarily in that top tier of NBA team, but as far as the East goes, it's like Cleveland and who else, right? I mean, I don't think that the way this roster is constructed right now, if it is truly Giannis is at the point guard and everyone's knocking down their shots around him after that, playing that spacing offense, like this isn't crazy to me to think that this is a top 4 team in the East in my eyes, Camille.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think sometimes we overcomplicate things, but the basic math of Giannis plus shooters equals success. And that's what the Bucks have really tried to do this year again in crafting this team around him as that singular superstar. And when you look around the East, if I tiered off the East, which I've done these exercises, like how do I tier off the East? The championship tier, Cavs and Knicks. And honestly, the more time that goes on, I'm starting to have more questions about the Knicks this season and this coaching change to Mike Brown, plus some health things going on.
Could that have been the most boring coaching change in the history of coaches? Like, way to tell me that you don't understand the modern day NBA by going back to Mike Brown.
Adrian Griffin says hold his beer, probably.
Adrian Griffin won basketball games at least.
He did. And Mike Brown won a few when he was down there in Sacramento before things kind of snowballed in the wrong direction. But I think it might actually take them a little bit longer than expected to kind of click under the new coaching. But based on what they did last year, I'll give the Knicks some reverence of respect of like, hey, you guys made it pretty far. You're returning a lot of the same players. Love the Clarkson pickup on the bench. Love Yabusele picked up on the bench. So like they have some things in New York where it's like, I get it. So Cleveland, New York, but then that next tier, I think the Bucks are in that tier with with Orlando, with Detroit, with Magic, with us. Like it's those 4 teams, Hawks, Bucks, Magic, and Pistons, where I'm like, these 4 teams.
They all have questions, though. They all have questions, right?
Exactly. So it's like, if you put any of those 4 teams in whatever order you think they'll finish in the East, I wouldn't argue with it, because I think that is the next 4 teams right there. So personally, I think the Bucks are going to finish with the 4 seed, maybe 3 if things go really well for them in the East this year. I just think it's set up. Like I trust in Giannis too much to think any lower of them than maybe a 5 seed, 6 seed if things go wrong.
Nick, are the Knicks like a top 5 team in the West, Steven?
Who? Probably not.
Yeah, I think it's that big of a disparity between both conferences right now. And it wasn't like the East was so stacked, and then now it's back over to the West in my eyes. So I agree. I don't trust the Knicks, because if we are comparing it to the West, like very likely that I think it's the Cavs and everyone else in the East right now. I don't see how
the Cavs. Like, I think the Cavs are really good when they play really well, but the way they choked against the Pacers, like, I just think, like, I don't know. I think there's, either you come back stronger or you come back with a hangover, and I'm not sure that they are strong enough, like with players who have experience winning. I'm not sure that they are able to come. Like, talent wise, they're really good, but I don't trust the Cavs to get it done. Like, I don't know. I just don't. You mentioned that, trusting Giannis and figuring out where that goes. As a fan, if I'm watching the first couple weeks of the Bucks, what am I watching for specifically that I know Giannis is happy or taking care of or feeling the vibe or things are going the Giannis way that he's going to want to stay in Milwaukee this season? Like, what am I, what is it? Body language? Is it wins and losses? Is it number of shots? Is it shooting percentage on open threes by teammates? Is it 50 count Chick-fil-A nuggets? Like, what am I looking for?
I think it's process over results to a degree. is the way that I'll say it, because there are going to be some games where you're running the right action, you're taking the right shot, and it's just not going to fall. And you can't get discouraged at the process, because the process was right. That was the right shot to take. Maybe it's just a cold night for AJ Green or Gary Trent Jr., but you trust in the work of what they've done before that. That's not going to be a everyday occurrence. So process over results to a certain degree, I think, is one thing for the offense. But Giannis is somebody whose body language always speaks very, very clear. You can tell when he's having fun on the court. You can see it in how he's reacting when he starts getting kind of playful on the court, interacting with teammates. But I'll say this, it's going to be one of those seasons too where we don't want to see them get off to a start how they did last year, which was 2-8. You don't want to see that. You do want to see them stack some wins, especially against teams that they are quote unquote expected to beat. Like, although today is going to be an emotional return for Chris Middleton, the Wizards are a team that the Bucks are expected to beat. So
Potawatomi Sportsbook, it's a 10-point. Bucks are favored by 10. That's a lot of points in an NBA game, but that's how much better the Bucks are than the Wizards. Like, the Wizards are still stink.
I'll say this, the Wizards are going to be one of my league pass teams, not only for Chris Middleton. Really? I do like some of the young players that they have over there, and I'm just curious to see how they continue to develop, because the Wizards are trying to figure out who their franchise guy is. They have a bunch of guys who are trying, are young, first, second, third year guys, and they're trying to figure it all out. So I think that they will be fun. I think they're going to be scrappy. And I think this is actually a really good opening opponent for a Bucks team that wants to increase their pace. What better way to test that than playing against a bunch of young dudes who also want to push the pace on their end?
It is all young dudes. I'm looking at their roster right now.
All young, except for CJ and Chris.
CJ, right. CJ McCollum, who obviously was Dame's teammate for so many years in Portland, spent the last couple of years in New Orleans. He's 34. Chris is 34. Anthony Gill, who's a backup, who's not going to play, is 33. Nobody else. I mean, Marvin Bagley is then 26.
Yeah.
Again, everybody else is 24 or younger. Like, it is a crazy young roster. And of course, we're going to keep our eyes on AJ Johnson, right? We want to see what ends up happening there. Like, he got playing time last year, but I don't know that necessarily means he's a good player. Like, lots of players stat on bad teams. We've seen that over the years. Yeah. Is he somebody you're keeping an eye on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just to see what he becomes, because now with the Tyler Smith wave, the 2024 draft class of the Bucks has come to a close already. Like, they're both gone. The 2023 draft class gone, with Chris Livingston being waived. So AJ Johnson is definitely someone I'm going to keep an eye on, but I'm also curious how the competition is going to stack up for him, because he's a guard amongst a lot of other young guards on that roster. So he's still in the fight for playing time to a degree.
Do you have a predicted record for our Milwaukee Bucks? And I don't know if you want to give that, or do you want to hear what Potawatomi Sportsbook has for their over-under first?
Let me hear the over-under first.
The over-under right now at the Potawatomi Sportsbook is 43.5.
I'm taking the over on that.
You're taking the over?
So, right?
I think so,
that feels
too. Like,
pretty free, honestly.
It does, but I, as free as it feels, like, I think 46, 47 obviously is more than 43.5, but it's not that much more.
Exactly.
I mean, one injury and all of a sudden you're 42 and 40. Right?
Yeah, and this is all predicated on Giannis being healthy for most of the year, because all of that we talked about doesn't work without Giannis there. Like, this is the team that Giannis is built to maximize, and guys that are built to maximize what Giannis can do as well. I think the Bucks finished the season with 47 wins, somewhere in that range. So 47-35, somewhere in there, close to what they did last year, honestly. So I think that's probably where you'll see them finish.
Camille Davis at Camille Monet on Twitter, Locked on Bucks podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast. Camille, thank you so much for jumping on today, and I have a feeling we'll see you soon.
I know, right? Can't wait.
Yeah, are we the three best friends that anyone could have? The three of us and Rami are going to the game tonight.
Yeah,
I know.
So if you're going to the game, find this crazy foursome of people just like talking like in-depth Bucks and going crazy. And Rami will probably be wearing a Bulls jersey or something.
Yeah,
he's a Bulls fan.
Me.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
It's stacked show. We get to start with Camille, and then we have Andy at 1. Like, I mean, what more could you ask for?
I know it's a great day. It's a great day.
It is a great day. So we'll see you tonight. Let's go Bucks. Let's start 1-0. And we'll talk to you on the radio and on YouTube and on the interwebs soon as well. Camille, thank you so much.
Always, guys. Take care.
You too. She is Camille Davis, aka Camille Monet, on Twitter. Follow her there and listen to her on Locked On Bucks on the podcast. We are the Mason Crosby Show. You can also find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Just look up the Mason Crosby Show, and we're there.
I got breaking news for you.
Oh boy,
Packers are going to wear white helmets.
is that real?
That's what they just posted.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah, all white.
Right. Well, we're going to talk about that with Andy Herman. And because of that, we're definitely putting the NFL on Thunder Watch. No doubt about it. For just having the idiotic idea that two teams could wear yellow helmets.
Yeah,
Like, you just can't do that.
No.
The exact same helmet. Like, that's like anti-football. That's not how football works. Camille Davis is awesome. Thank you to her joining us on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. We'll talk a little more Bucks when we come back and then jump right into Andy Herman at the top of the 1 o'clock hour. This is the Masonless Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nelles and Tommy, the Kmart model Wirtz. We are presented by Verizon. We just introduced you as the Kmart model to a whole new audience.
I know.
Like people,
there will be more nicknames coming.
People in Superior, Wisconsin are like, what do you mean Kmart model? Is Tommy? Wow, can I Google Tommy? Is he really a Kmart model? Nobody should be. This is the Mason Crosby Show. What time is it? It's clobbering time from Chicago, Illinois. He is the best in the world. Phil Brooks. IYKYK. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. I'm Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. Tommy Wirtz is here as well. It's a Human Wednesday for Mason Crosby. Tommy.
Yeah.
Alex Antetokounmpo is 6'8".
Yeah.
Thanasis Antetokounmpo is 6'7". Obviously, Giannis is 6'11". Rank them in weight order.
I'm going to say Thanasis is the heaviest, Giannis is second, Alex is last. That's where I would go. Thanasis, Giannis, Alex from heaviest to...
So I think Giannis's 4 inches give him the weight advantage over Thanasis.
I don't know.
So it is Giannis, then Thanasis. Thanasis only 5 pounds heavier than Alex. Giannis 243, Thanasis 219, Alex 214. Man, Alex weighs less than I do. That is stupid.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if it's stupid that I'm fat or he's skinny, but one of those is stupid. Maybe both. Two things can be true, right?
Don't ask me about the weight question compared to the rest of them. Also, I got something else here at the back end. Micah Parsons officially NFC Player of the Week, Defensive Player of the Week for Week 7. So,
Mazel tov,
congrats to Micah as well.
3 sacks, right?
3 sacks.
I mean, that's kind of well deserved, unless somebody else went nuts. That's a great job by Micah Parsons. We'll talk about that with Andy Herman, and we'll talk about the helmets with Andy Herman. We'll talk about the injury list, the injuries for the Green Bay Packers coming out on a Wednesday. I know Matt LaFleur just spoke. I haven't had a chance to follow that on Twitter yet, but if you want to follow Andy Herman or Ryan Wood or any of our Packers buddies, I'm sure they have notes on what Matt LaFleur had to say just minutes ago. Andy Herman, Pack a Day Podcast, is next on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. We are in the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. He is Tommy Wirtz. I am Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. It's a Mike Hump Day right here on the Mason Crosby Show. Let's go.
It's time to talk about the Pack with Andy Herman of the Pack a Day podcast on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nelles. Presented by Verizon, the official 5G provider of the Green Bay Packers on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
This is the Masonless Mason Crosby Show, the Middays with Thunder edition on a Human Wednesday for our friend the kicker, Tommy Wirtz, here as well. Our thanks again to Camille Davis for jumping on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. We loved it so much. We're going to jump right back into our guest hotline powered by Gruber Law as we bring in our best friend, Andy Herman, a.k.a. at Andy Herman NFL, a.k.a. Mr. Pack a Day. Andy, how are you, my friend?
I was great until I learned that I have to follow Camille Davis. I don't want to have to do that. Nobody, that's the worst spot to be in radio, following Camille Davis. She's the legend. I don't want to have to do that.
You're not wrong.
It was a stack show today. It was a stack show.
We did that on purpose. I go right to the fan talking text line, and 414 writes in, love Camille. She needs her own show on the station. And totally I disagree with that completely, because then she wouldn't come on with me. Mm-hmm. I don't want her to have her own show. I want her to, Andy, we love you, and we wish you still had your own show, but I kind of love that you're on with me once a week. Like, I want more. Selfishly, I want more Andy Herman. So
everyone does. That's a very common problem. They're getting like these little like Nicorette patches. It's like a Pack a Day patches.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
If you don't get enough Andy in your life.
I'm first in line.
Thankfully, I'm everywhere at all times. You get like, two episodes a day, Cheesehead TV, on with you guys on different radio spots, Bleacher Report. You get there's probably too much in it. We've oversaturated at this point.
You suck at retiring. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's what it is.
That's awesome. Andy Herman joining us on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. I believe Matt LaFleur spoke a little while ago. I haven't had the chance to check my Twitter machine to see if there was anything of true interest there. I know sometimes he's really interesting, sometimes he's not. We'll get to the helmets. Let's put the helmets to the side. Anything interesting that our coach that our coach had to say today?
It's funny. I was actually just on a different thing I had going on. So I was just catching up on it right before we got on here. And yes, I did catch a couple things. So the big ones, Devontae Wyatt is going to practice today. They're going to see how he does through the course of the week, but Devontae Wyatt is going to practice today, which is
I'm going to write that down.
I think he's a huge key to this game for Green Bay. So that'd be awesome if he could be out there. Brandon McManus is not going to kick today, but the plan is for him to kick tomorrow. So we'll see how he does with that and if they make any moves there. But
retire now, McManus. We have Havlicek. We're good. Just kidding. Everybody relax.
There is an organic groundswell of Havlicek.
There's gotta be
love, So there are some out there for sure.
Yep.
Well, how on par is that, Andy, where it's just like all these years of not being able to figure out something on special teams with the Green Bay Packers, and then it's like, oh, actually, we have too many kickers now on the team right now.
You can't carry two.
Yeah, you can't carry two on the 53. That would be a very Packers problem of like, can we just, send one of them back in time for the years that like after Mason, where there was no, kicker on the team that we felt comfortable with. But yeah, I mean, I was talking to Nagler about this today, and it's like, all right, if my life were on the line and they had to go out and make a kick, I love what Haversick's done for me lately. I'm taking McManus. I'm going
every day, right?
I'm going with the veteran in that situation, and it would be the most Packers thing ever if they cut Haversick and then McManus went 0 for 3 in his next game, and Haversick gets claimed by some other team and goes $1 billion for the remainder of his career. Yeah, exactly. That would be a very Packers thing to happen, but you have a veteran kicker that you've signed, you've solidified that position, and to be fair, Haversick has not been super great prior to coming to Green Bay, so you stick with the hot kicker right now. You're happy with it, but in the long run, you're probably taking the veteran proven commodity.
All right, so Devontae Wyatt, so Brandon McManus, any other news and notes we need to know from MLF?
No, nothing major. It was some of the Rodgers stuff he talked about, and how he came in and worked with Jordan and his situation coming in as a first-time coach and working with Aaron and some things like that. But no major takeaways from this one other than Wyatt and McManus.
Well, I definitely want to get to the Rodgers stuff, but I want to start with Wyatt because he's top of mind. You said that it'd be huge if he could play this Sunday, and I don't think it's just huge if he could play this Sunday. I think he's a huge part of this defense. What makes him so effective, and what is the impact that he has on this defensive front?
Sometimes scouting football is really, really difficult. And sometimes it's the stupidest, simplest thing in the world. And there's only so many humans of Devonte Wyatt's size that can move the way that he moves. He's just a remarkable human being. When you get to plus 300 and have the agility that he has, it's a really fun thing to watch. And what I really love about Devonte is the first couple of years, you could see that raw natural talent, but I didn't think he necessarily played with the discipline. He played always with a ton of energy, and he would chase things down from behind. And I love the way he played in that regard, but just, pad level, holding up at the point of attack, holding up against double teams. Those are things that he didn't do as well. And now he's doing a much greater job of that. Plus has that raw natural ability to, jump into the backfield and immediately make a play as well. And the thing that's really important about this Packers team is when you have edges that can scream off the edge and cause chaos. Hello, Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary, LVN, etc. What you really, really need is somebody from that interior to get there also with some immediacy, because if they do, now you just have nowhere to step up into. Right. This is not a diss on Carl Brooks or Colby Wood. I think Wooden's been fantastic. I think Brooks has played really well. I think those young defensive tackles deserve a lot of credit for really covering for Wyatt's absence, but also losing Kenny Clark right before the start of the season. I think they deserve a ton of credit. But when you have some of these pocket quarterbacks like Rodgers this week, and of course, Dak Prescott, Joe Flacco, and last week, I can't think of his name right now. Quarterback for the Cardinals. I don't know. You guys know
Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
When you've got those quarterbacks, to that 1/2 second to step up into the pocket to get that check down is the difference between a game-changing sack and a 5-yard gain. And those are huge, huge moments. So when Wyatt comes crashing when he comes crashing down and it hurts inside, inside the interior, that changes things quite a bit. And I think he's such a huge impact player inside for them.
So when you talk about that and putting the pieces of the defense together, I think what we've seen other teams do is that quick pass, not letting the pressure get to them. And we've seen some struggles from the secondary, that the secondary hasn't been able to capitalize on that quick passing game that they've seen. Does Wyatt solve all that? Are there still, certainly this week, I think has been like the anti-Nate Hobbs week. It's been pick on Nate week. When we talk about Wyatt and collapsing that pocket, but also, teams are still going to look to that quick pass, get the ball out of their hands. They don't want the heat. They don't want the smoke. And how then can the secondary actually take advantage of that in a way they haven't to this point?
Yeah, the first thing I'll say is I wish Devonte Wyatt would solve all of those issues. Unfortunately, he cannot, but he certainly is, again, a huge help where, again, some of those little quick steps up into the pocket where the edge rushers are getting there. Now that's not there. Or he's just causing the havoc on his own. That certainly takes one more, a couple more plays where you're just getting to the quarterback rather than him having the time to make that pass. But I do think the corners on the outside have to be better. I don't think this is just a Nate Hobbs thing. I didn't think Keyshawn had a great week this week. Valentine certainly struggled against Dallas, and that was kind of his last extensive playing time. I just think this entire corner group has to be better than what they've been so far. I was talking about this on my live Q&A just a little bit ago. Again, we don't need to get into the minutia of the grades, but you'll be able to tell the difference pretty quick. Over the first 3 weeks of the season, my grades for the corners, Valentine, Nixon, and Hobbs combined a plus 1.85 grade. Over the last 3 weeks, a combined negative 4.35. Just a night and day difference. Just a night and day difference from where they were even a few weeks ago. So they have to play better than what they have. And then as far as the quick passing game, we've heard from Jeff Hafley, it's kind of the thing that they're a little bit willing to say, hey, if you can dink and dunk and get the quick passes all game long, we don't think you can put up enough points that way. It's a fine philosophy, but you still have to be better against it. When the other team is spamming it and going to it over and over again, and you're not stopping it, you have to have some counter to it. And whether that is playing a little bit more aggressive up at the line of scrimmage. To me this week, I want to see those corners up a little bit more, playing aggressive, but I need to see somebody rolled over the top of DK Metcalf. You can't let the same situation where you're a 3rd and 14 and Marvin Harrison is one-on-one with Nate Hobbs in that situation. So those are things I think you just need to be a little bit better. And I think the secondary in general has to be a lot better as well.
Andy Herman, Pack-A-Day Podcast. Follow him on Twitter at Andy Herman NFL. So with all of those complaints you have on the defensive side, or all of those problems that you point out, Andy, On the offensive side, it feels like that is the much louder minority of the problems that this team has right now on Twitter and everywhere else talking about this Packers team. But like, what truly is a bigger concern? Which side of the ball is a bigger concern for this Packers team down the stretch? Because the offense, while a lot of people's clamoring for Matt LaFleur to give up play calling duties, which I can't understand. Like, it feels like they are moving in some sort of direction now here, Andy, after they go for it on 4th down at the end of the game and win the ball game for the team against Arizona, which is something that people were all mad about with Matt LaFleur against Dallas and how he managed the clock at the end of the game and his decisions during that process.
Consistency.
They are moving in the right direction in my eyes, Andy.
I hope so. We'll see. I think it's still TBD. I think the counterpoint,
that means he hates it. That was not good from Andy right there.
No, the counterbalance is where I think fans would say is just like, can that, again, to Mitch's point there, can you be a little bit more consistent with that aggressiveness, with that aggression overall? We'll see if it does overall carry over.
Too many 3 and outs also. Too many 3 and outs.
Here's to your larger point, Tommy, of like where the team is at. To me, there's 2 major issues, maybe a third if you're kind of counting like they need to get more turnovers. But we talked about the secondary on defense. The run blocking on the offensive line has to be better. I'm just going to call it the offensive line in general. Mm-hmm. When Jordan has been protected, he is a stone cold assassin right now. He is getting the ball down the field to his receivers accurately, on time, big plays, intermediate plays. He is just picking teams apart. And when Josh Jacobs has the smallest sliver of daylight, he is picking up positive yardage and running incredibly well. PFF's highest graded running back, whatever you want to make of that. Like, he is doing phenomenal work. They are not enough. And again, going back to consistency, consistently giving Jordan that time and consistently giving Josh Jacobs those looks. I think the bigger issue is in the run game right now. I think if you start seeing, I get people are frustrated, and there does come a point in time where if you're not running the ball well, then some of the run calls in those scenarios become bad calls because you're not running the football well. But in general, you would like to stay balanced as a play caller, and you need to be able to run the football. If they just start run blocking better, some of these calls that people are so ticked off about become a non-issue because you're going to be converting them because your run blocking is better up front. So I just think, to me, if this team starts to run block a little bit better and starts to give Josh Jacobs a little bit more room to operate, and they can protect Jordan just a little bit better and give him the time that he needs, some of these 3 and outs and some of these things that are deemed bad play calls start looking a whole heck of a lot better. The offense starts running with much better efficiency. And then again, on the defensive side, they've got to be able to get some of those quick passing games, and the corners just need to be better. Those are the 2 that, as we look through the course of the season, you need to see progress. Or if you get to the playoffs, when you're playing some of these dominant teams, whether it's at home or on the road, if you're not running the ball the way that you want to, especially when teams are playing cover 2 and keeping things that, that you can't throw the ball deep. And if you're, again, unable to stop some of the routine pass stuff in the NFL, those are going to be catastrophic errors that ultimately cost you in the playoffs.
Andy Herman joining us here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. He's on the Gruber Law One Call That's All guest hotline. And Andy, let's look at Sunday night. Aaron Charles Rodgers. He has beaten 31 NFL football teams. There's one he's never faced before, and one he's about to take on this Sunday night, the Green Bay Packers. What soap opera, what drama, what relationship building or defining or breaking opportunities or moments do you expect, or are you rooting for as a storyteller?
Are you going to cry is what he's asking, Andy. Are you going to cry?
Like, I have loved when Aaron Jones finds Aaron Rodgers, whether it was last year or this year or whenever it was, and like gives him a big hug and all that sort of stuff. That's been great. What do you and I know that LaFleur on Monday was like, oh, well, he's the quarterback of the Steelers. And that's it. I feel like there's more to it, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think from Matt's standpoint, it makes sense to try to mitigate the storylines and just focus on football, right? That's just classic coach 101. I was actually with Matt where when I was actually about to tweet this out a week ago of like, I know everyone's talking about like how emotional this is going to be for the Packers facing Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, there's barely any players left that even play with him. And then I started going through and counting the players. I'm like, oh, there's a lot more players that actually played with him than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be like 5 or 6, and it's a lot more than that. So that tweet got deleted very, very fast. I didn't send it, I should say. But yeah, I do think there's going to be that intensity, that energy. As a pure football fan, a non-Packers fan for a moment, pure football fan, I want to see this just be Love and Rodgers going back and forth. Kind of similar to what we saw with Flacco and Rodgers a week ago. I just want to see fireworks, and I want to see those two, see who can one up the other one. That would be what's great for the NFL. From a pure like Packers fan standpoint, screw that. I just want the Packers to go out and completely dominate the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Rodgers look like an old man, and Jordan look like the smart, obvious decision, and have Love and the Packers go out and dominate this one. I think this is going to be an incredibly tough matchup for Green Bay. A lot of the things that they have struggled with is Pittsburgh's DNA. So they've struggled against quick passing. We talked about that, right? Well, Aaron Rodgers is one of the best with the quick passing attack. Veteran quarterback, knows the defense is everything, right? He's going to get the ball out of his hands. They've struggled with big physical receivers on the outside. Hello, DK Metcalf. They've struggled with tight ends. Pittsburgh will roll out 3 tight end sets and consistently get the ball to their tight ends. We saw Freiermuth go off a week ago against Cincinnati.
Yes,
they struggle with big time. Nick Herbig, former Wisconsin Badger, has been unbelievable as a pass rusher. Not to mention, TJ Watt as well. They struggle with big physical interior defenders. Calais Campbell was an issue last week. Hello, Cam Hayward. So a lot of the things, and then Green Bay, Jordan will put the ball in harm's way every now and again, like once per game usually. And Pittsburgh is really, really great at taking the ball away when you give them any of those opportunities. So a lot of the things, not to mention they haven't won in Pittsburgh.
I don't like any of this, Andy. I don't like any of this.
They haven't won in Pittsburgh since Bart Starr either. Weird things happen in Pittsburgh when Green Bay goes there.
Even before I was born, and I'm old.
That's saying something. So I very much, there's a lot to be a little bit anxious and nervous about in this game with Pittsburgh.
Well, we started that with the Rodgers matchup and how many players still on the Packers know Aaron. What do you think it means for Aaron? We know, we know what the Favre divorce looked like and how crazy that was. And he went to the Jets for 1 year, then came back to the Vikings. I remember doing a 24-hour live broadcast from Oneida the night before the Packers played Favre at Lambeau, and we did a 24-hour marathon. That was crazy at the time. And now Aaron, the New York experience was not to anyone's liking, although with the way Justin Fields has played this year, maybe they want him back. Not that it's been great in Pittsburgh, but it's been good. It's been good what's going on. Do you think as much as he's one to be the smartest in the room and to manage his emotions and to not do or say the wrong thing when he can help it, how do you think Aaron Rodgers approaches this game?
Yeah, the first thing I want to say while answering this is I cannot say enough about the Packers to some extent, but absolutely Aaron Rodgers as well in how they handled that divorce. Because for a big-time superstar player, face of the franchise, and a team that wanted to go with the younger, flashier, newer version of the quarterback, I don't think that really could have been handled a whole heck of a lot better. And especially from Aaron's end, where he could have been super bitter, throwing the team under the bus, saying, screw this, screw Goody, screw whatever. I'm sure that there were some feelings there or whatever, but I thought he handled that about as well as possible. Just reading it from the outside, I obviously don't know Aaron. I don't know what he's thinking. My guess would be he had a lot more anger and piss and vinegar in that Jets game and really wanting to stick it to the Jets than maybe he wants to stick it to the Packers. But make no mistake, he will be ultra motivated for this game. He's going to want to play his absolute best. This is prime time. Like you said, this is probably his only chance to beat a 32nd team, a little bit of a legacy game there as well. He looked really good. I know he had a couple interceptions, but he looked really good a week and a half ago in that Thursday night football game. I think he's going to come out and wanting to put on a show, play his best game. I bet if you had to put him to a lie detector and ask him what's the most important thing, I bet he would still legitimately say, honestly, truthfully, it's just winning the game, getting a win for the Steelers and continuing a path to the playoffs. But he's going to be extra motivated in this one for sure.
Andy, are the Green Bay Packers the best team in the NFC?
Ooh.
Record-wise, they are.
Record-wise, they are, right? I mean, everyone's angry, Andy. Are they the best team in the NFC?
I really like the Rams. I'm going to be honest. I really like the way the Rams are playing. I think they're a fantastic football team. I think Jared Verse is already one of the best defenders in the NFL. I think when Puka gets healthy, him and Devontae, I think the big thing is, can Stafford stay healthy with that back injury? Those things can flare up at any given moment. I think they're fantastic. I think Detroit's playing far better than they were in that first game of the season. They still scare me. I think this is Rams, Packers, and Lions as your top three. I would hear arguments for any of the three. If you wanted to put Green Bay 3, cool. If you want to put them 2, awesome. If you want to put them 1, understandable. But I think those are the 3 that are the top of the NFC right now. And you could put them in any order you want, and I'd have no argument with you whatsoever. Is that a cop-out?
Yeah, a little bit. But I expected nothing less from you. It's all right.
Who's the best team in the AFC, Andy?
The Chiefs.
It's not the Colts?
They're playing very fun football. I would put Colts as like 1B, but I still think the Chiefs are right now the best. And I honestly, this will just be one that I completely eat. I thought the Colts are going to be the worst team in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
And to be putting up what they've been putting up.
I don't think anyone saw this coming, right?
No, they've been phenomenal. And it starts with their offensive line and their defensive lines playing so much better than they have. They're a fun team to watch right now. And I don't think anyone wants to play the Colts team. Just really quick though, like this is the beautiful thing of it. Everyone's pissed that the Packers didn't win by more against the Cardinals. The Indianapolis Colts, who are the number 1 team in the NFL record wise, are playing fantastic football. Again, we're in that conversation for best team in the AFC. They played the exact same game against the Arizona Cardinals. We're down by 4 or down by 3 late in the game, drove down, score a touchdown, go up by 4. Arizona's got a chance to counter it. Couldn't come up with it. It was literally the exact same end game to that one for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah. So you're saying the Cardinals are really good?
They're the best 2-5 or whatever team that I have seen in some time. Well, I guess maybe the Ravens actually are.
I believe.
Yeah, let's start that narrative. Cardinals best 2-5 team of all time.
Cardinals Ravens.
To lose 5 games by a combined 13 points is as brutal as you could possibly imagine, including like a 1-point loss to San Fran and then 2 fourth quarter, not collapses, but like giving it up in the fourth quarter against Indianapolis and Green Bay and having a heartbreaking loss to the Titans that they should have won a million times over. That's as rough of a 5-game stretch as you will ever have in the NFL.
Yeah, that is that. There's no doubt about that, especially after they started 2-0 and thought they were good.
Yep.
He's Andy Herman at Andy Herman NFL Pack-A-Day podcast. Daily content not to be missed. We'll be watching the injury report and all that sort of stuff that comes out later today. Fingers crossed about Devontae Wyatt, of course. Any thoughts about Christian Watson?
I'm curious if he goes this week. My guess is no with the field, and they do have until I think Monday to actually activate him off of that 3-week period. So I'm going to say he doesn't, and then he returns the following week at the friendly confines. But if he can and give them 10 to 12 snaps this week, that'd be awesome. But certainly one to monitor this week as well. Bucks 5 seed, by the way, 5 seed.
Oh yeah, that was my next question. You excited for tonight?
I am excited for tonight. I will be watching. I will be. Nice. I think this is a sneaky fun team. I don't think they can compete at the highest level. I think they're a sneaky high team. You watched that game last night with Rockets and Thunder, and then you just try to put the Bucks in that scenario, and you're just like, oh, that's a totally different brand of basketball. But I do think they're going to be really fun.
Thunder.
Hey, it's all about
the Thunder in the NBA Cup last year.
It's all about having a winter of fun and entertainment.
Oh, Mark Attanasio, you shut your big trap.
It's all what it's about, providing fun for families all winter long.
Stop it.
Including the Antetokounmpos who get all the roster spots they want.
You're not wrong.
Understandably.
Yeah.
Understandably.
Andy, thanks so much for taking the time. We will talk to you soon.
All right. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks,
you
Andy.
bet. Have a good one. That's Andy Herman, Pack-A-Day podcast. And all his content is everywhere on the interwebs, everywhere you listen to your podcasts, Pack-A-Day podcast, daily content, tons of stuff on YouTube. Andy is the absolute best. When we come back, we'll talk a little more NBA. We got to talk. We've just got like a smorgasbord, I feel like, of things to mouth vomit of things we want to talk about. We didn't even talk about the helmets with Andy.
No, he didn't. Because again, it's just breaking news, white helmets, and story's over.
Right. And it's like, it was so dumb that the NFL actually did something right and corrected it, that it's like, all right.
Yeah, good job.
On. Nothing to see here.
NFL does their job.
He's telling me words. I'm Mitch Nelles. We are the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. For those of you on YouTube who can't hear the music, Saturday by Elton John is playing right now, which I feel like you can only play on Friday or Saturday. Like, I think it's kind of weird.
Or if the Houston Rockets are playing.
Why if the Houston Rockets? Because
he's Rocket
Man?
Yeah.
But this song isn't Rocket Man. It's a totally different
Houston
song.
played Saturday,
on
Saturday at a Rockets game, everyone would be like, "Oh, Elton John, he also does Rocket Man." That's fact. That's a fact.
It is fact. I will get it is fact. I can't disagree with that. You
just
right.
hate it. You just
I don't hate it. I just think it's silly. But silly's good. I like silly. This is the Mason Crosby Show. No Mason today on a Human Wednesday. We're presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Thanks to Camille Davis and Andy Herman, both joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. That's the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline. Want to thank all of our new affiliates here as part of the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. 99.7 FM WNFL in Green Bay, as well as, I'm going to get this wrong because it's not written down on my sheet. You know, is it 100.9 or 101.9? I feel like it's 101. I don't know. We'll look that up. 93.9 The Game in Wausau, 710 The Game in Duluth Superior, and 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan in Milwaukee. Make sure to follow us on social media at WI Sports Radio. So everywhere you're on social media, the Gram, the IG, the Twitterverse, the X, the Facebook, the Bookface.
101.9.
101.9 there, FM in Green Bay, Appleton. We are at WI Sports Radio, so make sure you catch us there. And remember that Sports Talk on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much. I can count on Tommy Works, and I appreciate that. But I can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. I'm like a 7 on my excitement for the Milwaukee Bucks. And I know we want to talk. We had something on the sheet that we wrote that we want to talk, but I kind of want to switch gears. I kind of want to say
I have a fun pivot if you want
right.
that involves the Milwaukee Bucks.
Well, before we get there, I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
And then we will get to your pivot as well. 414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law talk and text line. 414-677-1250. Are you not? I know it's early. I know it's October. And we're used to the Bucks starting more like around Halloween or the first weekend in November. And I do feel like it's a little early for the Bucks to start. But is your enthusiasm for the Bucks a little tempered just because you're still a little hungover from the emotions of our Milwaukee Brewers season? And so I don't know if you want to chime in on that, you can give us a call, 414-677-1250. Would love to hear your thoughts because I am emotionally drained from the Milwaukee Brewers season. I was so all in on this team all summer long, all September long. I was at every home playoff game. So I was at all 5 games, 1 as a fan, 4 as media, all 5 cheering and rooting and praying and hoping for our Milwaukee Brewers to come out victorious. And so I'm wondering, do you think, are you excited for the Bucs season? Are you ready for the Bucs season? And if you're excited for the Bucs season, but not necessarily ready for the Bucs season, is part of that because of the emotional hangover that we still feel a week later from our Milwaukee Bucks not winning a game in the LCS, setting an all-time record for least runs scored in a 6-game span in the Major League Baseball playoffs? Because I am spent. I am still I woke up this morning dizzy. And I'm like, why am I I got a good night's sleep. I think I'm still spent from days and days and days of all in. All my chips were pushed in with this Brewers team. And so I think I'm still not feeling as emotional. I need a reset before I can really dive into this Bucks game. We'll see if tonight helps being in attendance.
Well, if you want, I can get you more emotionally confused because I do have some other clips here.
I didn't say I was confused. That was one time in. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Pat Murphy on trading Freddie Peralta and the return.
What is that?
Yeah, he's been an icon here. I mean, he's loved in the clubhouse. He's loved in the front office. He's loved by our fans and our community. He does a lot in the community. This guy's real. It's legit. But that is our modus operandum, is that I'm sure that there'll be conversations about that and teams will make offers. And I think we feel like for that price, we've got to get ourselves something really special. And, or I think we're 100% happy keeping him going forward because, that's, like you said, our starting pitching is kind of a question mark. Losing Woody, if we don't re-sign Woody or make him a big deal, then, that's, and when you look at where we operate budget-wise, you don't have a lot of wiggle room to go get a starter,
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. I'm the manager of a baseball team that does its due diligence. That's all he's saying. Listen, I'm on the side of the Bucks should take every phone call on Giannis. The Bucks should take every phone. That doesn't mean they're shopping Giannis, but to know what the market will dictate in a return for Giannis, to me, is obviously Freddie Peralta is not at the level of superstardom that Giannis is at. But the Brewers have to do their due diligence. They have to know what they could get in return for Freddie Peralta. And yeah, I know there's a lot of young kids in the minor leagues who are ready to hit for these Milwaukee Brewers. But we had hitting issues in September and October for this Milwaukee Brewers team. And if the haul that the Brewers get back for Freddie Peralta lessens some of those offensive struggles in a way that you can mitigate it and still believe that your pitching staff can be one of the top 5, one of the top 8 in baseball, then you absolutely have to have those conversations 1,000%. Yes.
I'm actually, I think, just fully on board with
trade him,
take the best offer. Yeah. I mean, and it's not something that is an easy decision to come to because you're going to see Freddie Peralta get Cy Young votes this year in the National League, but the Brewers did the same process with Devin Williams. They did the same process with Corbin Burns in years past. This is what happens right now in this market, and it is to get some sort of return. The return for Devin Williams turned out to be Caleb Durbin. I would say that was a plus based on what Devin Williams did for New York this year and what Caleb Durbin was able to do for Milwaukee. Now, the return for Corbin Burns was DL Hall and Joey Ortiz. Joey Ortiz being pretty much the worst qualified hitter in Major League Baseball this year.
True.
And DL
Above
Hall
average fielder
coming back and being, some role in the pitching department.
He was very good when he was healthy, but he can stay healthy.
This pitching rotation next year could just be insane for this Brewers team, and it could be for years to come. Now, I understand, but if Freddie Peralta is not there, does Jacob Mizorowski get in the home opener? Does he become the ace of the staff? Is it Chad Patrick that comes in? Robert Gasser, DL Hall going to be a part of that starting rotation? Logan Henderson
Quinn
as
Priester.
well. Quinn Priester.
I love that we mentioned 5 names, and we don't even get to Quinn Priester, who was a stud this year. And by the way, I just need to remind everybody that Tobias Myers had a 3.00 ERA as a full-time starter last year.
Yep.
Like a 3.00 ERA is borderline all-star.
Yeah.
That is a borderline all-star ERA for the entire season. Now, I know it didn't go his way this year based on, if Murph didn't like his approach and injury issues. But if he gets back to what he was 2 years ago, he is a tough front, maybe not a 1, but he's a 2 or a 3 starting pitcher.
I think that this Brewers team is going to be just fine in the pitching department. And as you said, the bats were a problem. If Freddie Peralta could bring in a guy that is a shortstop or a third baseman with some pop. Maybe, I don't even know if first base, like Andrew Vaughn's going to be there, but how married are they to Andrew Vaughn if Christian Yelich could move back out to the outfield next season, right?
Or how married are they to left field in general? I don't think they're the way they're not married to Caleb Durbin feels like the way they're not married to Isaac Collins.
Yeah, I agree.
And so if Yelich is your full-time DH or platoon left fielder, mostly playing DH like he was this year, you get a left fielder who's a 35 to 40 home run guy that changes this whole lineup.
They need a thumper. They need a guy that can come up to the bat every time.
They could use a dumper.
Yeah, also a good point.
Yeah, that'd be great if Mr. Raleigh wanted to come and play in Milwaukee. 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. See what Tommy did? Tommy twisted it on me again. Like, I was thinking about, am I ready to move on from the Brewers? Am I ready for Bucs season? And then he got me going back to the Brewers again. Unbelievable. Let's see. 262 writes in, or Ziggy writes in. It's not the Brewers affecting my excitement for the Bucs. It's how boring the team plays during the regular season the last 2 years. Yeah, they are good enough to barely try and get the 4 or 5 seed, Ziggy. And if you listen to Camille Davis, like the plan this year is to not play as boring, right? The plan this year is to increase the pace.
I would disagree with boring not being, and I'm excited to watch the Bucs too. I think they got a very good draw actually of the Brewers taking them up all the way until this point.
Yeah.
And maybe some people will be interested in some competition.
Yeah.
It depends on your definition of boring, because if you are saying like this new era of basketball is boring, like the Bucs are trying to get into, the Bucs are adapting, right? The Bucs are trying to adapt to this new era of, hey, it's going to be free throws, dunks, and threes the entire time. Right. And that is much more like it.
But now they're really leaning into
and increasing the pace. Like they're going to have the biggest gap in what their pace was last year to what it is now this year.
Yeah, and so that should make it at least a little more interesting. 920 says, no, it's just the NBA. So, I get it.
Yeah.
No, it's not for everybody. Tony's in Texas. Tony, you are on the Mason Crosby show. Mitch Nelles, Tommy Wirtz. It's a Human Wednesday for Mason.
Well, I'm a basketball guy, but I get what that writer, that whoever wrote in there said. But last night I got to say they tried, man. Thunder and Rockets. I was entertained. That was good basketball.
That was entertaining, absolutely. Now you have two of the best teams in the NBA, but it's still October.
They brought the effort and energy, though.
Yes, agreed.
So, and seeing superstars go at it, there was no load management. That was refreshing. As far as our Milwaukee Bucks, I got them penciled in as a 4 or 5 seed. I think they'll go for about 48 to 50 wins. And I got the Cavs and the Mavs in the finals. What do you think about that? Cavs,
Mavs. I like it. Cooper Flagg as a rookie in there. Hey, that would be
stacked, man. That team is stacked defensively. You got Anthony Davis and you got Kyrie. I mean, that team is loaded. And then back to what you guys were talking about with Freddie, absolutely trade him. This team is just loaded with pitching. They got to get some bats. This method has worked before. Devin Williams, you guys mentioned it, Corbin Burns. Look at Woody. Woody blew out his arm. I mean, have we gotten our money back on Christian Yelich? I would say no. Just let these guys walk. There's a return of investment. You don't get it back. I actually agree with Mark Antonaccio at the end of the day with that.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that we all battle with is, like, obviously you see it with the Dodgers, and it's working with the Dodgers. And Tony, thanks so much for the call.
You got it, buddy.
Yep, you see it happening with the Dodgers, but it doesn't happen with the Mets. Like the Mets signed Soto to $765 million.
Yeah.
And
we also just had the conversation with Ryan Wood that this season is a failure.
Right. Exactly. So spending money doesn't always translate to winning. And if you had asked the Dodgers, if the playoffs had been in July, when Snell and Glasnow were both hurt, they wouldn't have won. Right. Like sometimes it's just timing, and you get hot at the right time and you get healthy at the right time. And now we've seen, I still want to go back 2 years and see what a healthy Woodruff does in the playoffs. I want this year to be a healthy Woodruff. We didn't see it. It didn't happen. And so, that's why we're fans and we see what happens in the future. A little Thunder watch coming up next here on the Mason Crosby Show. I'm Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. He's Tommy Wirtz. We are presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. And we're in the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, where the food is delicious. Have a seed in the polio. Take a number. I was lightning before the thunder. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. I'm Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. And no, for those of you new to the network, I did not give myself that nickname. That was given to me by an old bald guy who wears glasses who used to wear a toupee. Is that fair? I don't know. Is that too harsh?
I didn't know the whole story until you just said it there. So maybe
rhymes with Blomer or Gomer or Tomer. Neve the Romer Blue, something like that.
Neve is great. You should have went with Neve from Catfish.
Oh, Neve. Nice. I did not give myself my own nickname though, as George Costanza can tell you. You end up getting called Coco if you try to come up with a nickname for yourself. This is our weekly look at who's on Thunder Watch here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Somebody we're keeping an extra eye on this week. We keep a rolling list. Sometimes it means you suck and you're in trouble. Sometimes it just means we're keeping a little extra eye on you and we want to see what happens this week. Sometimes when people do really well when they're on Thunder Watch, we keep them on Thunder Watch just to keep that momentum going as well, which I believe we really tried really hard with Joey Ortiz for a little while there, and I'm not sure how that went. Tommy, what does our Thunder Watch list look like today?
Thunder Watch, Rich Bisaccia,
Yes,
the latest addition.
Keep him.
The Miz was on it. I think
he earned his way off. Absolutely,
yes.
he did.
Luke Fickell
Still.
Probably will forever be on there. Jordan Morgan.
You know what? I don't care enough about Jordan Morgan right now to have him on Thunder Watch.
All right, that works for me.
He's just doing fine. He's vanilla.
We have Doc Rivers, Kyle Kuzma, John Horst, and Jimmy Haslam.
Yes,
also
all still on
there.
All still on. Though Horst might be close to getting off Thunder Watch. Okay.
And that would be everyone.
That's it.
Yes.
So Joey Ortiz had been taken off.
Joey Ortiz was taken off last week. Yeah.
Well, not last. It must have been a few weeks ago because I feel like we haven't done because I did mornings last week. And then,
maybe it was the last time we did Thunder Watch.
We did not do Thunder Watch for a couple weeks here because I think we got so involved with Brewers, and then I was doing morning shows, and then Trevor Thomas decided to be 6'8", and like all these sorts of things. So, all right, got any nominees for me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, let's jump right in.
You have history with this man.
Oh boy, here we go.
You took economics with this man, and this man is in charge of the entire Department of Athletics for the University of Wisconsin, and I can't believe he has evaded Thunder Watch as long as he has.
Well, we put it all on Fickell. That's why, right?
Christopher McIntosh.
Yeah, Christopher McIntosh is on Thunder Watch for sure.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. That was my nominee.
I don't know. I think Christian Yelich's got to be on Thunder Watch right now. Like, I think we just got to put him on just to until we hear like the season ending press conferences and all that sort of stuff. And it might just be for 1 week, and it probably should have happened a week ago, but we didn't have a show. Christian Yelich is on Thunder Watch, man.
Okay.
Yeah, because
he's at it as well.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for our weekly installment of Human Wednesdays. No Mason Crosby, so instead of Mason's Extra Points, it's Thunder Watch with me, Mitch Thunder Nelles. Again, our thanks to Camille Davis and Andy Herman for jumping on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all today. Matt Bernstein will be on the show at 3 o'clock with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer.
Peter Fagan as well.
Peter Fagan at 2:20, I believe. As it is Bucks opening night tonight at Fiserv Forum. Chris Middleton and the Washington Wizards are in town against our Milwaukee Bucks. Everybody have a great day. Excited opening day. We turn the page from the Brewer season. We open the book on the 25-26 Milwaukee Bucks season. This has been the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers.
I was